Hello and thank you for all of you that are joining here to this unique episode that brings alone news, war, and spirituality. We are hosting here Belinda, Belinda Wescott, that is coming all the way from South Africa. South Africa, from Port Elizabeth. She's one of the leaders of Brahma Kumaris for so many decades, teaching, learning, and enabling spirituality. And we're doing that here from Israel with a combined broadcast from Israel, from these TV studios, from the location that a terrorist attack has happened, also from Jerusalem. Hello to you. Hello to you, Belinda.
Hello. Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
You're coming from South Africa. It's amazing because you were sharing that you managed to clean your heart. Instead of going to demonstrations and fighting for who is right and who is wrong, you did something else in the apartheid. What did you do?
Well, as I was saying, I had to check within myself to what extent I had been influenced by propaganda. And really be honest with myself. And sometimes it's difficult to find that kind of honesty within yourself. But it helped me a lot to check myself and make sure that I was not being part of that system of discrimination. And it was in later years that I took up spirituality in a more serious way. But, I think in my life, having that desire to be free from any form of discrimination. And even up until today, I constantly check, because we are influenced by so many things. And even we're influenced by our own pain. And pain is not something that we choose. However, my experience is that pain can also help us. Because my experience was that if I'm experiencing pain, I may not have the power to change the external circumstances, but I do have the power to change myself, to change perhaps my attitudes, the vision that I hold for others, and perhaps even for myself. And through that, I'm able to understand the message of that pain, because I feel all pain has a message for us if we can hear it. And I think humanity needs to hear it.
You're talking about this kind of pain, and right here, as we shared and discussed even previously, this studio is located in a location that was a terrorist attack, a few hundred meters from here, and came a terrorist killing, slaughtering innocent people that were sitting, drinking coffee here. And from the same place, the same location, we've got questions of Israelis that are seeing you live and asking questions that are bothering them. Let's listen to another question, please.
My name is Amir Levy, and I have a question. I know the situation is hard and we're in the midst of it, but how can we move on? How can we learn from it? How can we evolve? How can we make things better? How can we forget but not forget? How can we just move on?
Thank you for your question. I think I said it earlier, we may not have control over the external situations, but we do have control over ourselves. And I really feel that if we can, I used the expression earlier, clean our own hearts, this is really the way to be able to move on. And that is challenging for someone who's experiencing a loss, a painful experience of having lost someone or lost their homes. But we have to, at this time, turn within ourselves and really, you know, we have a saying in the Brahma Kumaris, when I change, the world changes. But we're so focused on trying to get the world out there to change. And really, we have to change our hearts. We have to remove from our hearts the barriers and the bridges that, you know, that we've broken. We have to repair those bridges. And it starts with us. You can't do that. You can't reach out a hand until you feel deeply that, you know, we all need to find that peace. All of us, without exception.
With your permission, another question that is coming. You're talking about hearts. You're talking about creating an inner change in order to change the world. This is the spirituality way of thinking. Another question that is coming from the same stand of ContentoNow, that people are coming from Tel Aviv and asking questions that are bothering them. So we are going to be hosting another person with another question.
Hi, my name is Yuval Aviram. I'm 20 years old, live in Tel Aviv. I think I'm going to ask you something right now. What about love in these days? We really need your love in Israel right now. We feel lonely.
What a beautiful question. And I want to reassure you that there are thousands and thousands of human beings that feel deep, deep love and compassion from the heart for what is happening. And the question was asked earlier, why is the world so silent? And I responded that people are confused. But you know, more powerful than anything else is the power of love.
Right.
And that love, you know, we may not be able to show it in a physical way, but it is there. And it is a collective energy. And that love goes beyond the right and the wrong and the good and the bad. It is just a feeling of deep love and compassion for human suffering. And please know that although you may feel alone, you are not alone. Everyone that we talk to, there's that same feeling that we want to see solutions. We want to see peace coming back to you and your families so that you can feel safe again.
You're saying that coming with the experience from South Africa, yet that you made an inner change. Instead of going to demonstrations against apartheid, you changed something in yourself. What was the first step in order to deeply understand that you are not trying to change the government or their or them, you're trying to change Belinda?
As I mentioned, I had an innate sense that the world I was living in South Africa was extremely unjust. And I think that the demonstrations are a very limited way in which to try to change things. And each one of us needs to take responsibility. And I tried to do that. And I told myself that you need to show something different in your life. And it has to come from your heart. You can't fake it. And so what is that deep shift that happens internally that enables you to live this life that is free from the discrimination, that holds a genuine love for the whole of humanity? And my spiritual understanding is what gave me that, when I realized that at a physical level, we are all different. We have different religions, we have different colors, we have different beliefs. But internally, at the level of the spirit, we are truly a family at that level. But we have to take ourselves deeper. We have to go beyond the things that separate us. And then we can find that love that goes beyond everything. It's the true love of one spirit, one soul for another soul.
Let's say plug into things that we're seeing here in the news throughout the last days, with a very deep and profound commentary by the former President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Triggered by the horrific murder of more than 1,400 mostly civilian Israelis, many of them children, at the hands of Hamas, as well as the abduction of over 200 hostages. And then an Israeli response that has so far resulted in the displacement of well over 1 million people, the death of at least 9,000 Palestinian civilians, thousands of them also children, the cutoff of water, food, electricity to a captive population that risks creating an even greater humanitarian crisis. And all of this is taking place against the backdrop of decades of failure to achieve a durable peace for both Israelis and Palestinians.
Listening to the former President of the United States, Barack Obama, is there a practical advice that you can take the divine ideas into practical daily steps for Israelis and Palestinians that they are facing right here and now?
I would really encourage everyone to take some time just to be with themselves. We can get lost in the social media, and we need quiet time, because it's in that silence, in those quiet moments, that we can find ourselves and separate ourselves from the things that are happening. And this is essential, because what we need now is spiritual resilience. We need that inner strength. Anyone can blame and criticize, but to find that true inner resilience so that we can reconnect ourselves to our own peace. You know, externally, we can't have peace until we find that peace within ourselves. And for that, we need moments. Take moments in your day just to be quiet with yourself. Reconnect with your spirit, with your soul. And once you do that, and then you look at the world, you will see the world differently. You will see the world with that deeper understanding, with compassion for everyone. And then the blame we will become free from that. And then we start to find solutions. But reconnect with the truth of who you are. Because when we do that, we can see the truth of others. Otherwise, it will be challenging for us.
You're saying seeing the truth for others. With your permission, another testimonial of a person living in Israel, and while you listen to him, share with me one thought that you are thinking that can help him, because he is a microcosmos of the state of Israel in these intriguing times.
My name is Lior Peri. Early Saturday morning, my father, my 79-year-old father, was abducted from his house. All his life, my father was a peace activist. He took part in an Israeli organization called the Road to Recovery. They were taking sick people from Gaza Strip, where he's being held now, to Israeli hospital to get a medical care. Please, bring my father, Chaim Peri, back home.
I think what comes to mind is to never let go of hope. And I do believe that buried deep within every single human being is goodness. And that may be difficult to believe at the moment. But if we can find it in our hearts to acknowledge that inner goodness and in a way invoke that inner goodness for people to do what is right and never to let go of that hope, which is like light, and keep the heart clean, keep sending that light to your loved ones who are in very difficult situations.
Belinda, keeping hope, sending love, transmission to the loved ones that are kidnapped in Gaza, etc. I think people in Israel can engage and understand, and people worldwide. It worked in South Africa. Yet, you're saying that in every person there is something good. Would you find something good in the terrorist attackers who did things that even animals wouldn't do? Hurting, kidnapping, murdering, raping, and afterwards taking photos of that and smiling with joy?
These are indications of the lowest form of behavior in humanity, and we can never make excuses or condone these behaviors. And yet, with spiritual understanding, we can realize that the perpetrator is more lost than anyone else. They have completely lost sight of who they really are. And why does that happen? It happens because of anger. Anger, it blinds us. Anger puts us into a madness. And we just have to ensure that we don't join in that madness, that we keep ourselves with that deeper understanding that to know who we are, to know who they are beneath all of that behavior. And otherwise we will completely lose ourselves in the darkness. And that is not an option for us. We have an opportunity to really rise up and go beyond the limited, go into a deeper understanding of humanity and what is behind I mean, we all heard this expression, hurt people hurt people. But there's something beautiful too. Healed people heal people. Let me be one of those who are healed, not hurt.
You know, there is a huge advantage, Belinda, that you are broadcasting and we're creating this unique episode, having the experience of South Africa. South Africa that was suffering wars, was suffering apartheid, and a reconciliation has happened there. So perhaps throughout the last minutes of this wonderful encounter, we'll have you leading a short few minutes meditation, taking the energy from South Africa and your personal experience as a leading spiritual leader and teacher to people around the world, especially here, the kidnapped people, the suffering people in Israel, the suffering people of the innocent people also in Gaza, and having your practical tools in a leading open eye meditation with your permission.
Yes, certainly. So I invite you all to just sit quietly wherever you are. What we're going to do is we're going to just turn our thoughts away from everything external and just be quiet inside. Find that inner place. You can visualize a place of peace in your own mind, a place of tranquility, somewhere where you can be silent and calm. And just for a few moments, we're going to connect with our original and true self beneath all the layers of labels that we have put on ourselves. Labels of gender, labels of color, creed, beliefs. We just come back to the essence of who we are, beyond the labels, the inner being that is the truth. And here lies our experience of peace, remembering that at our essence we are peaceful beings. That is why we search for peace. We search for love and joy. Let us find it here in this moment within ourselves. Reconnecting, letting go of the sadness, the hopelessness, and knowing that as spiritual beings, we have the power to change ourselves. And through that inner change, recognizing that we are all spiritual beings, and changing my vision, changing my attitude to one of hope, of light, forgiveness, and most of all, peace between us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Belinda Wescott, for your kind words. In our other TV stand in Tel Aviv, we've got a young child that the team is telling me right now that he has one maybe final remark that would love to ask and to share with all of us after this meditation?
My name is Idagai. When wars go stop?
When the wars are going to stop?
What a beautiful question from a child. We say that war begins in the minds of men, and so we need to change our own minds. That's what we need to do, and we can't do that unless we change our hearts. So when the heart changes, then the mind will change to a mind of peace, of forgiveness and reconciliation. So when we create those thoughts, then the world will change and the wars will cease. And I do believe we will reach that.
In the coming weeks, months, years, decades, more than 100 years, what is your perspective, Belinda?
It's taken a long time for us to reach the state that we have reached in the world. But I do believe that with the power of love, we can change things very quickly. I believe that deeply, but it takes a collective effort from all of us together. The consciousness, our current consciousness creates the world we live in. So if we carry anger, fear, and sadness, it manifests in our world. So let's begin today to change that, to create a new consciousness for mankind that will bring a world of peace and a world of love.
Belinda Wescott, I want to thank you so much for finding the time during those hectic times and to bring your perspective, the spiritual one, into the boiling Middle East at the midst of November 2023, though I think that whatever you are sharing can last beyond news, wars, and spirituality. I want to thank you very much, Belinda.
Thank you so much for having me, and our thoughts, our love are with all of you.
Belinda Wescott from Brahma Kumaris, the biggest spiritual university around the world. I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for joining us here and sharing your questions in this unique episode of News, War and Spirituality from Tel Aviv, Israel, ContentoNow TV.